right. Well, welcome to, I don't know what we're doing today, actually. It's just, we're going to chat. I'm going to ask you questions. Let's think of it as like a coaching call. So today we have Phillip and Jenna Provost from Walla Walla. You've been in real estate for how long?
So I've been doing this for 10 years.
Okay, 10 years. Jenna, how
5
many?
years for myself.
All right. And what made you get into real estate, Phillip?
So for me, my grandpa was a realtor, and then my mom, my grandpa handed his book of business to my mom when she left. So I thought that I was going to get handed her book of business. So I went into real estate thinking that I was just going to get handed her book of business, and I always knew that was the plan. Little did I know, my mom wasn't leaving the business, so I just kind of went into real estate with her. But yeah, that's the reason I went in.
So family tradition. And Jenna, what made you join Phillip?
I saw Phillip doing it, and for me, it was more than the houses. That was a great perk of leaving, but I was in lending prior, and people would come in with like contracts written on napkins, and they'd come in and be like, help me, I'm lost, and they'd have agents not helping them. And so I was like, I could do this better.
I like it. That's a good reason why. We haven't actually talked to a lot of agents, even though we're in real estate, but it's about like being an entrepreneur, and people forget that real estate agents are entrepreneurs. And I've been your coach now for 5 years?
Yeah.
So I've gotten to watch you on this journey of being agents, and now you have embarked on a new journey this last year, which you said you would never do, but somehow you've ended up having your own real estate company.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, but they say you're the sum of the people you hang out with, and we spent a lot of time with you and Taylor Greer from California, and I think just being around you guys, you both have your own thing. I give you guys a lot of credit. It kind of made us level up.
I like it.
So
it's good. I manifested it for you. I knew you were going to somehow make you have your own brokerage. But it's been a good journey having your own thing, right?
yeah, so I mean, it didn't come the way we thought it was gonna. We went to another brokerage. We were with Coldwell Banker, and we actually really liked Coldwell. But it just at the end of the day, it didn't work for us. We weren't using the tools they were providing, and so we ended up going to another brokerage that was completely not for us. And now we do our own thing. The nice part is we do a lot of marketing, so having the freedom of whatever we want to do is pretty fun.
So I've gotten the unique experience of coming up and participating in some of your events in your community. And one of the things I love about the way you run your business is you make it really truly about the relationships and less about trying to just convert cold leads online. I know that you do all of the things to grow your business, but tell me a little bit about what's been most successful for you in your community growing your business.
You want to take that?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's our community events. When we went into this together, we just knew that we wanted to give back. We wanted to help people, but we also wanted to take that and give back. We wanted to continue to build relationships. Walla is a small town. You can't go to the grocery store without running into at least 10 people you know. And so if you're selling people those houses, you want to continue to have those relationships. And past selling the home or helping them with that, we invite them out, and we get to see them multiple times throughout the year and stay in contact with them. Yeah.
I think I came up and we went to the rodeo with you. And I was just everybody knew who you both were. Like, you obviously are doing a lot of things out in the community where everybody recognizes you, but it doesn't seem like it's just for real estate. They just recognize you as good members of the community. And I've always been inspired by your nature of giving back to your community, because you do a lot of free events, but you also tell me a little bit about your ice cream truck, because I love your ice cream truck story.
So it's really special to me because it's a way for me to give back to the community. I can go and help people that... Sorry.
Jen gets cry voice if she talks about it, but the ice cream truck really, so Jen wasn't as fortunate as me. I grew up, I never had to worry about food on the table. I mean, we had a big family, but I mean, there was always food. Jen kind of had a different upbringing, so she saw a lot of the harder things in life, did a lot of the food banks, things like that. And then when I met her, we had a baby, and she was 17, I was 19, so we were broke. So we did some of the food banks, and it really was a good step up for us. So now to be in a position where we can actually give back, that's kind of the thing behind the ice cream truck. My grandma passed away, and I was really close with her. She left us a little bit of money and said, do something nice. And so we made an ice cream truck. We call it Something Nice, and it's a cart right now. We're working on the truck, but yeah, just a way we take 100% of proceeds. We actually probably do more than 100% of proceeds because we pay for everything for it, and literally every dime we make, we just put right back into the community. We had a really good year of giving this year.
I love it. That's really awesome, and
Yeah.
I love that you had a vision for it, because I think we were supposed to have a coaching call that day, and you're like, we're on our way to get an ice cream truck, and I was like, what are you doing today?
It all kind of just fell together. We didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know how we were going to do it, but we were on a trip in Seattle and for our anniversary, and we went through a park in this little ice cream truck. It was an old mail truck pulled up, and it was the cutest thing in the world. And I was like, well, this just kills all stereotypes about old ice cream trucks. And this is awesome. I would love to do this. And it just kind of clicked. Like, this is how we can give back to the community, but yet, like, absolutely love what we're doing. And so the truck's being built. It was taking forever due to it being a classic. So he built me a cart. Last season was our first season. And with its proceeds, we were able to help a fire victim. Their house burned down, and they needed help getting a deposit into their new rental. So we were able to help with that, and then we were able to adopt 6 kids at Christmas.
That's awesome.
Which I give them the good presents too, because
Yeah.
we've stood in those lines, and presents for some kids you can spend very little and really make a difference.
They weren't dollar store.
We tried to give them the good
They're
stuff.
good stuff.
It was like a give and take, like winter warmth, yet like we got them what they wanted for their toys and
Yeah.
asks, and that felt really nice.
So I always was inspired by Tony Robbins' story about how many families he feeds, and now he feeds, tens of thousands of families every year for Thanksgiving, because he has a very heartfelt Thanksgiving story. And he had a goal of like what he wanted to do with that. Do you have like a goal of where you want to see that grow for your community?
I mean, we have lots of ambitious goals with the ice cream truck and our business. I know one thing we'd love to have is like a scholarship, of course.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, just to be able to give back. We have an opportunity right now where we may be partnering with a baseball field that we have, but it's one of those things where, as realtors, we work a lot on the weekends, and baseball games are really busy on the weekends. So we still are trying to run our business and our lives. So hopefully one of our kids will step up. But
Yeah, we've gotten lots of offers for volunteers, so we might actually have to put some of that in place.
I like it. That's awesome. I wouldn't be a good coach if I didn't ask if you had a goal behind your efforts. So how to get that in there. But besides the ice cream truck, and you do a lot with the events, but beyond that, you do a lot of volunteer work for the community. I've watched you, like right this year, you've taken on the music festival and marketing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoy marketing. It's another way for me to get a creative outlet, plug in there. And so there was a need. He reached out. There wasn't any marketing places that were wanting to step up and help. And so I have that skill from real estate. And I was like, well, let's just apply it to marketing and help them out and run with it. And it's gotten a lot of positive feedback from a lot of like business leaders. And I think that's really positive.
it's definitely a learning curve. So Jen does really all the like content creation. I can help push them. I know more the ad side of things. But our big thing, like in real estate, we can see how our marketing's working, because we can see, do we get showings or is the home selling, The one thing that we are noticing with a music festival is ticket sales. I mean, you don't really think about it, but unless you have like a big headliner and it sells out, ticket sales normally come at the very end. So trying to market and then like see the results right away has been really hard. So just trying to find some way to like drive ticket sales now versus at the very end. That's been
Trying to see
a
what
bit
your
of a
ROI
challenge.
is on your.
Yeah.
Do you have? Are you doing their website and everything, or is it mostly social media marketing?
No, I'm communicating with their website developer now, his wants and needs, and I just meet with him and relay it to them. They make the changes, and I get the proofs approved. So just kind of like currently a liaison for the website. But I handle their social media, the content creation, posters, ticket design.
It's a big project.
Yeah.
I know you do your Valentine's Day giveaway, which I love that, giving that back to an individual in your community. But you also go around and make reservations, right, at Valentine's Day to be able to have them available for your sphere and your clients, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's completely an R&D, a rip off and duplicate. We saw some other big brokerages doing that in other cities, and the one nice part about being a small city or small town is that everything comes later. So the big thing for us is we can see these ideas and then implement them the next year, and still nobody's doing it. So yeah, we do call around, try to make reservations. It's still amazing to me how many people completely forget to make reservations. So they normally go very quick. I think we posted it at nighttime this year because we were just a little behind, and they were all gone before the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And so out of all the events you do probably like 10 a year, right?
Yeah.
Around there.
What's your favorite event?
It's probably a tie between the Valentine's giveaway. You'd think like your most romantic dream. You show up in the hotel room and it's all like completely decked out. Giving that away is really rewarding, but also the fair parade viewing party.
Oh, and that's one that we came to, right? With
Yes.
That was really good. And so when we were there, you took over a park that was on the parade route, right? And you had a bounce house and face painters, and tell us what you have for this year.
Typically, it's about the same. So we do face painting, a balloon artist. We hire a character for meet and greet. This last year was Spider-Man. We kind of go with whatever is trending, but also everybody knows. Bluey was really big, but I wasn't sure if everyone would know who Bluey was. And so that we chose Spider-Man this year. We also do cotton candy, and they just make it continuously the entire time. But this year I think we're going to add seating as a gift to them.
Yeah, we'd really like to do some sort of like bleachers, like rentable bleachers or something, just to give some more seating. We did lose the bounce castle just because our downtown, you have to have special insurance, and bounce castles in general are really expensive to insure. So, but no, we definitely want to add. We talked about adding an announcer as well.
We really like that idea.
Oh, okay, because it's far enough away from the parade announcer that it'd
Yeah.
be nice to have someone announcing with
Or
them.
maybe even just a speaker from the parade announcer would be cool. But
So what do you love the most about your community you're in? Because I know that to do all these things, you have to really love where you're at. And I see a lot of agents, like they'll move to we heard one yesterday talk about how she moved from her main community to a new one and had built that up by doing events. But you have to really have like history and love for that. And I've got to know Walla Walla a little bit, but what do you love most about your community?
so for me, it's just I grew up there, so that's big. I've been there since I was 2 years old. The fact that I know most of the people is really comforting. I feel like we're a really nice community. It seems like everybody's willing to help somebody. We have like a Facebook page out there right now, and I just saw the other day there's like a lost dog that's been lost out in the middle of nowhere. Like 3 people have seen it, and then finally 2 people went out and spent the whole day finding it and got it some food. It was getting really skinny, and like took it to the pound to get better. Like, and just little things like that. We just seem to have like a really wholesome community. I know at one point in time we actually moved to a neighboring town, or we were looking at moving to a neighboring town, and it just wasn't for us. I mean, what I tell somebody the other day, I don't know how you guys do the traffic in Portland, because a traffic jam in Walla Walla is literally ducks crossing the road.
That's true.
It could be that. I don't know about in Portland, but in Newburgh, it definitely could be a puppy or or some ducks. Could
What do you
stop
like?
traffic.
It's definitely the niceness. We like to travel. I can get to as far as Seattle and remember that we're not in Walla Walla anymore. Just everyone's so kind and considerate when you're there. And for the events, it ties to why we do it. People are so genuinely like thankful that you've done it. Like that's enough of why we do it.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's hard in a small community because you are limited to some degree. Like I know inventory's been hard there at times. The job market might not always be perfect for bringing in the buyers and getting the sellers the price they want, but you also have that great opportunity of being in a small enough area where everyone can get to know you and you can really give back and help the community. So I love that. I know what we hear a lot from agents in big cities and huge success stories from that. And I think it's harder in a little town. You know, you have to work harder to keep a really good reputation. You don't have as many people to serve as you do in a bigger city. What has been the most valuable thing for you in growing your business?
I mean, I feel like that's a setup.
You don't have to say coaching.
You are the most valuable thing for me
I appreciate that.
in setting up my
This
business.
is not a sales pitch, but I truly I think a lot of agents want to know that right now. I know, out of the 100 agents we have in Arkham, they're always looking for that answer of what is the key to like really being successful in it. And I can think of a couple things like I know where I've seen your business grow. But I want to hear like the things that really you think have impacted you the most in your growth and your success.
I mean, so honestly, the foundation would be the coaching, accountability. I had a coach before you. The one thing that's nice about you is you're like that teacher in school you want to do good for to make them proud, versus that teacher you want to do good for because you don't want to get yelled at. You just don't try as hard. So that's kind of been the big thing for us, is just having somebody that was there to help hold us accountable. I mean, when you first start as an entrepreneur, you're in the office every day at 7:00. Like this is it. But then it gets a little old sometimes. Sometimes you need a little help. So I'm having somebody that's expecting you to be there at 7:00 every day. That's huge. That's been a big thing for us.
Great with accountability.
I like it. I appreciate that. I'm not surprised completely, but I am. That is really good to hear that the impact of like having accountability has helped you. I know I can see though. One of the things I think for you that agents maybe don't realize is really important is just the consistency in your giving back to the community, but also your consistency in some of the activities you've done, because from the beginning, even though maybe some of them were new ideas that you've learned along the way and started implementing, like you said, ripping off and duplicating, but you've had a very consistent schedule of doing community events and doing giveaways. And I remember one time when it got a little slow, you're like, can we do, better if we're out in the community, like even if we're just going out to lunch, because we see people and talk to people, and it's your relationship building that has been, I think, the most impactful for you, is that you have built relationships not out of the expectation of getting business, but out of the expectation of service, of that you're going to provide a service to them, whether it's helping them market their event that has nothing to do with real estate, or if it is to, to provide a good service and help them sell their home. I was really impressed when I went to an open house that you did when we were there, because it wasn't some glamorous big home, it was a small manufactured home, but you treated it like it was a beautiful, $300,000-$400,000 home, and marketed it the same way, even though the payout's much smaller than it would be on a bigger home. And I think that's something agents forget, is whether it's a big, sale or a really small sale, that you treat your client the same. And I know, just watching you over the last 5 years, going to events with you and the people you've met along the way, everyone remembers you both because you have a really warm, welcoming, genuine spirit about you. So I think it's important that when building an entrepreneurial, building their business, is that, like Zig Ziglar said, it's about helping others get what they want, and then you in turn get what you want. And, charity work doesn't always have some big payback, in the beginning, but in the end, helping people is what really grows us as individuals and grows your success in your business. So,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I definitely think we got lucky with the fact that we just really enjoy helping people. We enjoy the community events, like we enjoy the community things. So that's been really good for us. Like video has been amazing for our career. Like doing it early was really good, but I, other than this right now, this video seems pretty relaxing. But I'm normally very nervous on video, so for some reason we can go to Big Blue Boosters dinner or any of those things, and we just have so much fun, just relax, meet people, and that's been really good for our business. And then we are going to go to the music festival and we'll be shooting video, but we'll meet people, and that's been really good for our business. It's just relationships has been the biggest thing.
I know I had a goal for you to do more video this year. So whether I'm going to make you do it myself or you're going to do it on your own, you're going to do more video this year.
I'm committed.
Yeah, we just went to a conference yesterday, and now we're feeling pretty committed to some videos.
To the
So
video. I like
maybe
it.
we'll start some podcast style stuff too. You never know.
I think that would be awesome getting back to, because originally you started with Walla Walla Wednesdays, and it was, you weren't always interviewing the business owners, but you were like reviewing the business.
Yeah, so when we started, it was just straight interviewing business owners, and we were young, we didn't know what we were doing, and it just got a little awkward for people. I mean, you just sit there and ask questions, but then Jen decided to make some where she just kind of went to businesses, and we kind of reviewed like what we liked about the business. I think we'd really like to start getting back into that. There's something about not looking at me talking and more just looking at the business I think we like more.
Yeah.
I really don't want it to be about me. We want it to be about the business. So I think that's kind of the goal with maybe the next step is we try to do more of that.
I think yesterday hearing quit being selfish, it's not about you. They need to see what you're trying to show them, as a good message.
Yeah, Jason, that's one thing that Jen asked me, like, what'd you learn? And I said, the one thing that Jason said was like he was about to go on stage, and I think he said he was talking to Tom, and Tom was like, well, you don't want to know why I'm not nervous. It's because I'm thinking about what I'm going to put out to people, and you're thinking about you and like what people are going to think of you. And so I think if we can just try to really like not think about like what are we going to look like on video, like is this going to be awkward, and try to be like, okay, we're going to put this out so other people can get the content and learn or grow by it. I think that's really important.
I love that. That's a really awesome way to think about it. I know that that's probably the biggest objection I've heard since I started in coaching, because Tom's always pushed pushed video. And they're always like, well, I don't know. I don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way I look. And I don't even like to watch back my videos ever. But I just tell them, just post them. I don't, because it's really about what that might do for somebody else. And one of the other things that I think is a pitfall for a lot of agents is they go and they look at how many views and likes, and you really can't look at that. I had an agent tell me the other day that, she done one YouTube video, it got one view, and that person bought a house with her. So she had 100% success rate. But if she just dwelled on the fact that it just had one view, and like, oh, it's not, it helped that one person.
Yeah.
It got you to that one. So even if, you highlight a business and maybe it gets them one more customer, or it gets one more person interested in your community, or inspires somebody else to do the same, then it's worth putting it out there. And we don't look at our views and comments and.
Well, and we're true believers in karma. So if you go out and you make a video for a company and that company helps that company, it's going to come back around at the end of the day.
Yeah, taking the focus off you. I didn't hear him say that. Don't be selfish, but I like that.
Something along
Quit
those
being
lines.
selfish.
Maybe that's just what I heard.
Yeah, that's what it spoke to you, saying.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday I know that they made us go around and take selfies with everybody, and I think part of the exercise in doing that is to bringing somebody else in that you don't even know. I guess it's the equivalent of shaking their hand if you take a picture from it. I was looking back like on the pictures that we all took from that, and I think I only took 2 with people I actually knew. The rest were all strangers, but everybody looked like genuinely engaged and happy in the process, which is not always the experience when you get folks on camera. But I think we were in a room full of folks that wanted to grow, and there's something to be said for surrounding yourself with people that are in growth mindset. I know this morning trying to get up at 5:00 to run was not what I wanted to do, especially after a day visiting and eating with everybody and drinking. Like getting up was hard, but I have like 3 or 4 people that constantly motivate to keep doing that. And it's so important. Like if I didn't have those people around surrounding me, I would stop doing those things. And having people around you too that do better than you, you keep pushing yourself, like you said. I hope I'm going to make sure you have a great success with this brokerage, because otherwise I feel like Taylor and I are going to get and be like, it's your fault. You told us to do this. But I don't think I ever told you to open your own brokerage. But I always felt like you were holding yourself back a little bit by not really doing your own thing. And you could have maybe done it where you were at the other places too, but your brand truly is what you do for your community. And I think you're able to shine that through without having the clutter of other people's agendas around you.
Yeah, it just kind of made sense at the end also. I mean, like, we're a little ordinary, like, weird in the ideas that, like, we were at a brokerage that offered a website and offered a CRM, and we had our own website, we had our own CRM, we had our own marketing. Like, it was just to the point where we just did everything ourselves. And then seeing you guys do it, and my coach is kind of a badass, so.
And for the record, I do not yell at you ever, except for, well, occasionally when you're buying something that's not on the budget, that happens once in a while. But I learned I didn't yell at you. I've never yelled at you. Well, I appreciate you sharing your story. If you were to give some advice to new agents out there, or maybe ones that are just have struggled, like what would your couple pieces of advice that you give them?
So my big thing is just like going all in. I mean, if you're gonna be a realtor, like I know it's really tempting to do the part-time thing, but if you're gonna work part-time, you could do that time making phone calls. I mean, like if you're going to work from part-time, I don't know what part-time is, 8 to noon, and you're doing real estate from noon to 5. If you made phone calls from 8 to noon, that would probably make you a lot more money than your current part-time job. And if you don't like phone calls, because I absolutely hate phone calls and I will not do them, there's plenty of other stuff you can do. Go out and help the community. I mean, there's a lot you can do to just get your face out there, get known, and just jump in all the way. That's always been my big thing with real estate is if you want to be successful, I feel like you have to jump in.
Mine would be to stick with it. It's not something that's going to come. There are a lot of great shows that I might be guilty myself in watching, but it's really just to compare what's like reality and not. But it's not as it's made out to be on TV. It's not quick money. It's a lot of relationship building, and to just stay after it, keep doing the things that you need to do in order to be successful. If you come in, get a couple deals on luck that of the few friends you knew that happened to be in the market buying, that's great. But if you don't continue to work hard, it's going to go to the wayside quickly. You have to continue working.
Love that. And Phillip, you said agents working part-time, and I find a lot of times agents don't have another job and they only work part-time.
Yeah.
They're part-timers, but they don't have another supplemental income.
So when I first started, the one thing that was really good for me is my grandpa always instilled like being at the office. So like I would go into the office from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then floor time on Saturday if I could get it. And like I had nothing to do. I was new. I was literally sitting there like quite honestly back then I didn't even know what to do. I wasn't in coaching, so I really had nowhere to go. So like I would sit there and like Google what to do, watch some YouTube videos, watch some people script. So I like the plus side is I learned a lot of scripting, but the big thing is like if somebody called a floor call, I was there because a lot of times there was open floor calls, or if somebody called me that I knew, I was sitting in front of my computer. I had the MLS up. I could get them the information right away. So that was I definitely think that was a big key part of my success was just I was in the office ready to go. If they called me, I wasn't like, hey, I'll call you back. I'm driving. It was I was ready to
On
work
it.
every day.
I think he coined being available like this. I remember being left at like Walmarts and barbecues before. There was a 5-year gap where he was an agent and I was in lending, and we'd be somewhere and he'd be like, yeah, I'll be there in like 2 minutes. And we'd be like shopping at Walmart and he'll be like, I'll be right back. Like an hour and a half later, I'm sitting on the outside building of Walmart waiting for him to come back.
We've gotten a little better at work-life balance, but not a
Yeah.
lot.
But it helped people, like, if you need something, call Phillip because he's quick. And that he got a reputation for having a fast response time, and that did help him.
Always being available. I know that I went from working like a 9 to 5 type job to going into real estate, and that was the same thing. My dad always said too that when you go to work for somebody, that you treat the business like your own. And then ironically ended up being my own in 4 years because I took over for the previous owner, because I did. I came in, and if it wasn't my business I was working on, I would help her work on her business. And being in the office too, you're around others that are growing and working, and it's inspiring. So I love that. My last question to you, as you were talking, I was thinking about it, and I know I coach 3 or 4 couples that work together. I have tried it several times in my life, and it's not turned out always the best. But I've always admired how I've never seen you two bicker with each other, and you seem inseparable, which is not always the case when couples go to work together. Sometimes it splits up marriages. So tell me what you think your success is with working together every day.
It's not for the faint of heart. No, it's weird. We're a weird couple. We like to be together all the time, so we're literally together all the time. It was before we started working together. We actually worked in a couple fields together. But yeah, I mean, the big thing is it's not like we were not together and then we started working together. We were always wanting to be around each other. I didn't go to the bar without her. The guys said, I want to go to the bar. I was like, I want to bring my wife. They were like, why do you want to bring your wife? I was like, oh, she's my best friend. I want to bring her. So we just had a different relationship in that way. So I think that's why we've been successful.
Yeah, we take a little bit of heat for it being so weird, but we've just kind of always found he'd get employed somewhere and he'd be like, oh yeah, you should work here too. And so there's been several times that we've worked at the same place, but I think it goes back to just having boundaries with each other and talking to each other all the time, like just being able to communicate what's going on. He's a little better at communicating than myself.
The fun things that we get to deal with, though, owning our own businesses, they never end, but having a positive attitude about it and moving forward and not being scared by those are what keeps us going, right? So.
Yeah, some stressful times, but we just keep on going. Our big thing is there's no plan B.
When we talked about that, the burning of the boats.
Yeah.
There's no other alternative.
The boats have
We have to
been
burn our
burned.
boats often.
Yeah.
And then I know that I always, in the beginning, like I would meet agents and they'd say, well, if this doesn't work out, I'll just go back to my other job. Or if this doesn't work, I'll go back to school. Or if or it's some people too, they're at that point where it's their second career and maybe they're reaching retirement. And so they're just like, I'll just quit. And I did exactly what all of you did. I knew that I couldn't live in that space of having another option. And so I did it because I had no other choice. Because there's definitely days that if I'd had another choice, maybe would have gone a different direction. Yeah. But I'm glad we all stuck in with it. And I'm so glad you guys committed to doing this morning. I appreciate it. You could have very easily skipped out on the hard thing of being on video and been like, I've got an appointment and I got to get back to the office. So
my mind,
I know I was pleasantly surprised when you walked in the door at 8:30. I was like, oh, they're going to do it. So I appreciate you committing to that and sharing your story. So,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, we'll do it again. You're coming back right in 3 weeks for.
We won't be here again though.
You know what? I think I'm busy.
All right. Well, there you guys have it. Another inspiring story from entrepreneurs. I hope you got something out of it, and we'll see you on the next one.